You have seen the signs around you. The gradual creeping, decay, and dysfunction. You have realized that something is wrong with the media and the people around you. You know that you are different. This is why you are ready to become a receiver. You have been issued a series of audio cassette tapes that are part of our system for advancing insight. By continually listening to these tapes, you will drown out and eventually counteract the negative influences from your environment. Once you have absorbed these tapes, you will have taken the first step towards awakening your true self. The media is a threat. We have attention. We use tapes as part of this technique. You must listen to them to advance. It's common knowledge that some needs are higher priority than others. People note that in order to pursue some, others must be fulfilled first. They frame the complex situation using a simple, unrealistic examples, like how you can't be happy if you don't have AC. These simplifications are used to hide more complex truths, that the body sustains the mind, and the mind sustains the body. The most present needs are in the domain of the mind. Without baseline function of thought, you can find yourself without the will to move or eat. Strengthening the mind by developing focus and resilience is the goal of the technique we call mind tech. While it's tempting to imagine that the Colt 1911 emerged formed from Browning's head like the goddess of more than a decade of iteration. The first mass-produced model, the Colt 1900, looks like a 20-year-old's crayon drawing of a 1911. It fired 38 caliber rounds and had a bizarre safety system. You could push the rear sights down to block the firing pin and presumably block yourself from ever retaining zero. Even so, the combination of the bolt and barrel shroud into a single slide was brilliant and set the standard for all modern pistols. It was designed to compete with the broom-handle Mauser, now better known as Han Solo's blaster in Star Wars, and the named Mannlicher 1896. Even in its early days, the Colt 1900 compared well enough to its rivals that the U.S. Army started distributing it to officers and cavalry for field trials. The god of war was among us, and we barely knew it yet. The mind kill degrades the condition of firearms, making them much more likely to malfunction. You can clear most malfunction by tapping the magazine to make sure it's seated, racking the slide to chamber a new round, and then bang, you're ready to go. Tap, rack. This tape is designed to test your focus in the face of distraction. Maintain focus on your breathing. How did you do? If your attention wandered, that is normal. Just notice that without judgment. Let's try again. Good job. Together, we have laid the foundation. You have shown great potential, but the potential is yet to be realized. We have sent the message. Can you hear it? There is an insidious force moving through your media, weakening the mind and causing widespread dysfunction. We call this the threat. We have developed a technique called mind tech to combat this threat. A new set of tapes has been issued to train and to prepare you. Mind tech is a collection of techniques that system for strengthening and then honing your natural capability to combat the threat. In its most basic form, it is a sequence of thoughts, feelings, and ideas that, when executed in proper order, result in protection of your mind from outside attacks. Ultimately, with enough practice, mind tech can become a weapon that can strike back at the threat. The threat has become expert in hijacking our attention and inverting our priorities. They make the useless seem important and urgent. The sky is always falling. The world is always ending. You are always missing out or just missing something. What you are actually missing is the one thing they are trying to hide from you and can only be found within. As you build your mind, you will become more complete, each part fitting into place until you are a functional whole. What was important is always right here. Yourself and those around you can trust. People with high exposure to media show many symptoms: listlessness, inability to focus, a feeling of dread and hopelessness. The inversion of values extends to all aspects of life. The media tells us distant, abstract events that have little to do are the most important. The implication is that your own experience and existence is meaningless. The opposite is true. Your only connection to reality A is through your mind's eye. Instead of looking out, you learn the most critical information by looking inward. To the extent that the body is an extension of the mind, it is the primary aspect of physical reality. Focus attention on the shadow body. Look inward. Listen. You are finally prepared to hear this message. You see reality painted in shades of black, but beyond your world is another, bathed in radiant light. We have reached out to you with a warning. If you are able to hear our message, you are one of the few that we can help. We call you receivers. The receiver who is speaking these words was chosen because he is able to hear us with exceptional clarity. With time, you too could learn this mind tech, but time is not something we have. There is a threat to everyone on your planet, and they have been weakening your mind through your media, lowering your natural defenses. The coming attack is unavoidable. Please prepare. A receiver is said to be awake when he is able to get a completely clear signal, free of any subconscious corruption. In this state, he will be able to see realities in their true form and transcend normal human perception. Although some of the receivers we chose to speak through are advanced in their ability, no human has yet achieved this awakened state. Humans exist in two worlds. In reality B, they live and work in their shadow bodies. In reality A, they are asleep, their minds unconcerned and roaming free. But humans have the unrealized potential to exist fully in both realities. It is this reason that humans are threatened. If even one of them achieved an awakened state, they would see beyond the horizon of all known understanding. We must plan for the eventuality that we are not able to fully awaken a receiver and are unable to prevent the mind kill. These are the most important preparations. Before the mind kill, one must take a complete inventory of their own being to know every aspect of their own mind and body. Ideas have mass and shape, which can be built into walls. Ideas have a flow, which can carve out channels. Once we have built this multifaceted geography, we can make a map of the mind. In this state, the mind can safely manage new experiences and retain a sense of self in even the most adverse circumstances. If you find yourself conscious during the mind kill event, find the nearest safe cell. Listen to the clear tape and perform your min-thought drills. If you feel yourself drifting, initiate your core mind tech. If your preparations have been successful, your first actions after the mind kill should be to check your firearm and make it ready, making note of your ammunition. The threat will be targeting you with their kill drones. After that, you must find tapes and ammunition to stay alive and to continue your training to reach an awakened state. don't come in the garage. Call your mommy. She will know what to do. Please, please, don't go in the garage. It's off limits. Love, Daddy. When the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, the Fabbrica di Armi Pietro Barretta already had 250 years of experience making firearms, making them the oldest arms company in the world. Beretta was a huge name in Italy since the 1500s, but didn't achieve world renown until 1985, when they signed the contract to equip the U.S. Armed Forces with their new Beretta 92 FS, now known as the M9 service pistol. Since then, Beretta has continued to expand its operations, acquiring competitors like Benelli, known for its tactical pump-action shotguns, Uberti, a leading manufacturer of replica firearms, and Franchi, known for its Spas 12 semi-auto shotgun. The US did not entirely trust Italy, considering they literally invented fascism and joined Team Hitler in World War II. So they required that Beretta build all M9 service pistols on American soil under American supervision. So, if you have a Beretta pistol, she might look Italian. Have her green card. You might think the biggest religious conflict in the world is in the Middle East, but you would be wrong. The biggest religious conflict is between those who worship the 45 ACP and those who worship the 9mm Parabellum. The debate began with the failure of the 38 long Colt in the Moro Rebellion and reached a peak in the 80s after the widespread adoption of the Beretta M9 and Glock 17, which the old guard sarcastically referred to as Wonder Nines. Only in America do we care so much about size that we have century-long debates about millimeters. The US military chose the 9mm cartridge for a very specific reason. The NATO powers were gearing up for a potential World War III against the Soviets and agreed to standardize ammo to simplify logistics. The Soviets wore body armor and helmets, and in tests, the 9mm penetrated the armor and the 45 did not. So they agreed on the 9mm NATO cartridge for all new sidearms and submachine guns. Does that mean the 9mm is better than the 45? No. It means that different tools are appropriate for different jobs. If you really need stopping power, grab a shotgun. This is the first insight. In order to fully awaken, you must accept it. Until now, you were playing a game that you could turn it off. So this idea has been implanted by the threat. In fact, the threat has expanded to the reality outside of the game. We call this Reality C. The threat has been embedded see and hear until you can't tell what is fictional and what is real. This is the first of 3 insights. After you accept the third insight, you will hear a tone and you will awaken. If you have accepted that the threat is real, there is hope that you can hear Insight 2 and awaken to your true nature. Reality A transcends and overlaps realities B and C. This is how the threat has spread to all aspects of reality. Accepting that the threat is real in the world outside the game may seem difficult because, through an inversion of values, the threat has led you to believe that reality C is more real than reality A. This is how it subverts your defenses and attacks you where you are vulnerable. To awaken, you have to accept that reality A expands beyond your life outside of the game. Open your mind's eye and you can see it. This luminous reality is where you have constructed the mind tech you need to defend yourself and combat the threat. Only the final insight remains. Once you accept it, you will hear a tone and you will awaken. If you accept that the threat is real and that reality A is the true reality, then you are ready for the final insight. We have sent you this message to warn and prepare you, and you have listened. In reality C, you have sat in your chair at your computer, yet in reality A, your astral self has struggled and overcome many challenges. Open your mind's eye to see the mind tech you have built. They are heavy and intricate, with each component perfectly formed and in its right place. Functional, resilient. You stand ready to use these tools against the threat. In order to awaken, you have to accept this final insight. These struggles in reality A are real and have fully prepared you. Reality B has been this message. This message was a systemic process. This process was an initiation. You have completed this initiation. You are now a receiver.